The note arrived at the FBI headquarters, its typewritten words chilling. You only found what you were meant to find. The rest is still out there, and he's not the last. Agents stared at the message, heart pounding. This wasn't just a killer, it was a network, and tonight, they were the prey. They already found the freezer heart, the secret tape, the hidden safe deposit box, the documents on MKB-13. Now, this message proves one thing. Someone wants Dahmer's story to stay half-told. So, what comes next? The FBI traced the letter to a drop-off location, a secluded mailbox behind an abandoned warehouse. They moved fast, helicopters buzzing overhead. They found two things: a map highlighting 5 locations across 3 states, a USB drive encrypted, labeled simply Field Ops. They knew ignoring it wasn't an option. They dispatched a team to the first location, a rural Ohio farmhouse. The barns were collapsed. Cows wandered. But in the basement, a room freshly painted black. On the walls, yellowing newspaper clippings ringed a table. Photos of adult men, some from Dahmer's victim list, some not. Under each face, a date, decades old. In the center, a single Polaroid of Dahmer, smiling, holding a clipboard. Behind him, Dr. Harold Sloan's face loomed. Someone scribbled on the back, Stage 5, active. Heat rose in the investigator's neck. This wasn't Dahmer farming trophies. It was orchestration. They played the USB on site. It contained lab records, MRI scans, EEG charts, all paired to subject IDs. Subject Dahmer. Experiments at age 25. 3 years before official killings began. One scan stood out. Subject 0473. Date June 15, 1985. Location Brookfield, Wisconsin. Memory-encoded neural mapping showed trauma and impulse spikes. Next to it, Subject 0981. No name, no age, just that EEG curve. But no death date. This wasn't Dahmer's lab, it was theirs. Back at HQ, forensic analysts overlaid EEG patterns. They found a match. Subject 0981 equals evidence chest found under an apartment on the north side of Milwaukee. Inside, biological material, hair, nails, fingers, all belonging to a man officially listed alive. He wasn't missing. He was erased. The theories crashed into each other. Had MKB-13 tested on unwilling civilians? Had they replaced citizens with bodies they controlled? Had Dahmer been grooming killers or victims? And what about that final note? He's not the last. What if someone trained to kill was still alive? 5 days later, there was a break-in at a federal lab. CCTV captured a janitor at 3 a.m. No face, no gloves. He walked in with a toolbox, exited with a brown envelope. Inside the envelope, a single sheet of paper. I'm sorry, they said I had to go back. Attached, a 4x6 photo of a tall man wearing sunglasses, standing behind Dahmer in the leaked tape. New suspects. He knew Dahmer pre-arrest. He appeared on tape with Dr. Sloan and Dahmer. Now he's gone. FBI listed him as John Doe, Subject X. But one clue remained. In the tape, right behind Dahmer's shoulder, you could see a pendant on a cord. A triangle inside a circle. MKB, 13 insignia. And behind it, a dusty certificate, barely visible. It looked like a recognition award dated 1976. Possibly a Buckeye State Research Award. Likely military. Inside the plan were motives tied to Cold War-era fears: control, loyalty, obedience. They looked for other active nodes, men who fit the pattern, quiet, unremarkable lives suddenly disappearing. One name jumped: Eric Monroe, a 45-year-old IT specialist. Wife had reported him missing on September 12th. Just 4 days earlier, 2 shipments from the lab, human samples, press-sealed from Brookfield. Monroe's wife got a note: "They remember me." Something directed Eric. Someone who knew Dahmer. Someone who wanted subjects recalled. At the farmhouse, agents found fourth drip remnants, dried blood, and a hidden hard hat. Stamped Brookfield Chemical. It was code for experimentation. The warehouse doorbell camera, overlooked earlier, showed a black SUV pull up at 2 a.m. 2 men exit, one carrying a cooler, the other the USB labeled Field Ops, both wearing lab coats. They packed fast. They didn't expect Daisy Myers. She was the Baker County coroner investigating missing drugs. When they cross-referenced her, phone pinged near the house during the break-in. Now she's missing. M.J. Stevens, former MKB-13 subject from 1975, called the FBI. He survived. He was tortured, experimented on, indoctrinated. He said, "It was never about Dahmer. He was the test. But we were the army they built." He named 6 names, 6 men like Dahmer. One was Dr. Sloan. Another, John Doe from the tape. Then Eric Monroe. And one more, the current head of behavioral research at Brookfield Chemical. A civilian. Protected. Untraceable. He handed over dates. Dates aligning with monitors, disappearances, killings, lab shipments. He said they seeded MKB-13 across the region to test compliance. They needed data on loyalty, submission, violence. It was government-backed, pharmaceutical-backed, psych-backed, and Dahmer was Phase 3. Phase 4, still in the field. He suggested watching Eric Monroe's profile, a man living alone in Green Bay, recently filed for additional medication, being closely monitored. He went dark 48 hours ago, which means he might be hunting. The FBI mobilized. Monroe's booking. No record, no trace. His house, empty, lights on. They found his car inside a closed mausoleum. Inside, the same triangle and circle pendant, and a phone playing a video. The camera faces Monroe. He sits on a slab, whispering, "They sent me back. I had to finish what Jeffrey started." The feed cuts, dead. But the audio lingers. In Monroe's voice, 2 whispers echo. Always watching. Always building. Police swarmed the mausoleum at dawn. Cold stone walls, flickering torches. Inside their car, Monroe's phone was playing that haunting video. "They sent me back. I had to finish what Jeffrey started." The last thing you hear? A whisper. Always watching. Always building. Inside, the burial slabs lay cracked. Empty. No Monroe. No body. Just dust and echoes. But they found clues. A blood-stained pendant. Triangle inside a circle. MKB-13. A leather-bound notebook titled Field Ops, Phase 4. Monroe's phone logged into a hidden chat app. Last message, tonight. They turned to the notebook. Inside, coordinates. 4 sets. all pointing to abandoned sites, factories, farms, warehouses across Wisconsin and Illinois. Each site labeled Phase 4A Brookfield Lab, Phase 4B Green Bay Safe House, Phase 4 Joliet Warehouse, Phase 4 Chicago Office, each marked active. This was no rogue killer, it was a coordinated operation. As dawn brightened, FBI assembled teams for each location. Time was running out. At Brookfield Lab, agents found locked doors, smashed windows. Inside, human tissue in glass jars labeled Batch 4. Spillover alarms indicated recent activity. In Joliet Warehouse, blood splatters on walls. One chair remained. A torture seat. On the floor, a printed photo, Jeffrey Dahmer, shaking hands with an older gray-haired man who wasn't Sloan, but wore the same pendant. They didn't know his name, yet, but they knew he was real. A photo on the warehouse desk caught their eye. A group shot, 4 men wearing lab coats, 2 faces masked, one face unmistakable, Dr. Harold Sloan. Another, the man from the Joliet photo. Third face, a woman. She looked familiar. During the search, agents noticed a security logbook, field guest entries. One signature was M. Stevens. Date, yesterday. The same M.J. Stevens who survived Phase 3. Stevens had returned. Alive, unharmed, and he knew more than anyone. They tracked him to Chicago. They found him packing inside a motored van, triangle circ pendant around his neck. He didn't resist. He said quietly, holding the notebook, "You have no idea what you interrupted." Inside that van, a mobile lab, EEG monitors, chemical agents, and syringes. He flipped the notebook open to a page titled Phase 4 Release Protocol. He explained, Phase 3 equals kill-oriented control, mixed with psych delivery methods. Phase 4 equals agent dispersion. Across the Midwest, multiple subjects were programmed. Dahmer was their test case. Now, they were building a network. Subject 0981 had vanished. Monroe went silent, but dozens more could be out there, obedient, dangerous, loyal, waiting for orders. Stevens raised the stakes. They want a reboot to expand MKB-13 beyond Dahmer, into society, into our homes. The program had sleeper agents, citizens appearing normal. But under trigger, they snap, kill. Young men across Milwaukee, Chicago, and Green Bay reported missing. No patterns, no suspects. They were all adults in their 20s and 30s. All vanished suddenly. Eerie coincidences. Each had briefly interacted with Mo Brookfield chocolate shipments. Each left behind electronics linking them to secret chat apps, ones that Monroe used. Agents began identifying digital breadcrumbs, IP logs tied to locations in Joliet. Trade records pointed to MK-B13 specific chemicals purchased over pay-by-mail names. The warehouse photo wasn't just evidence, it was a hierarchy. And Stevens recognized the woman in the group shot. He shivered. Her name, Dr. Lydia Carr, Brookfield's lead researcher. Next to her, another name scribbled, Phase 5, Week 2. Meanwhile, the team raided the Green Bay Safe House, Phase 4B. Inside was Monroe's lab, but also files. Confidential emails between Carr and a government official. One line stood out, "We expect delivery in 48 hours. Field test successful." Under it, an address, Chicago office, Phase 4D. They searched the safe house's basement. It revealed stretchers and restraints, untested sites ready to deliver a drop. They secured everything and called Stevens. At Chicago office, they prepared for a raid. Did Carr know they were coming? She did. Agents caught her leaving the building using Monroe's access badge. She fled into an alley carrying a briefcase. Inside, USBs, lab data, a hidden hard drive labeled Expansion. Cops cornered her. She looked at the pendant on her chain, and she didn't fight. She said, "They promised change, behavior control for good." She opened her briefcase. It held schematics, plans to expand MKB-13 into new regions. Maps, timelines, test schedules. Phase 5, nationwide deployment. She spoke slowly. "We never wanted Dahmer. That was a failure. We wanted proof." But now, with Phase 3 and 4 data, we could refine. Arresting her, agents asked, "Who funded this?" Carr paused. She whispered, "Someone above me. Someone political. They believed obedience could be engineered and weaponized." Back at FBI HQ, hours later, the data from Carr's USB was decrypted. They found one shocking reveal. The chain of custody for funding donors included a familiar name, Senator Richard Holbrook, a senior politician from Wisconsin. Emails proved it. Donate to Brookfield under account 4470 for Civic Peace Initiative. Subject MKB 13 Tech is national security. Senator Holbrook personally authorizes interim cover-up. The stakes exploded. This wasn't just a criminal case, it was a political conspiracy. A senator covering a covert human behavior program linked to serial murder. This was about power. As agents closed in on Holbrook's offices, a secure whistleblower email popped in. "They're coming for the files. They're coming for you. You'll be silenced as cleanup begins. Get this out." It included one final attachment, a photo. 4 men in suits, standing in a New York-style townhouse. In the center, Jeffrey Dahmer himself, alive, smiling, shaking hands. Not Milwaukee, not prison, new city, new agenda, because Jeffrey Dahmer was never just a serial killer. He was the proof of concept, and full deployment was scheduled for later this year.